This is BBC World News. I'm Rajesh Merchandani. The latest headlines. At least 21 people have been killed in the Ukrainian capital Kiev in the latest clashes between protesters and police. As the violence continues, EU foreign ministers agree to impose sanctions on those they say have blood on their hands. Well, sticking with that story, Yuriy Sergeyev is the Ukrainian ambassador to the United Nations, and he joins us now live from our UN studios in New York. Ambassador, thank you very much for speaking with us. First of all, let me get your response to the scenes we've been seeing for the last couple of days. Does the Ukrainian government accept responsibility for all the deaths on the streets in the last couple of days?
Well, first of all, I would like to remind that today is the National Mourning Day. And the new casualties shocked me a lot. I'm expressing my condolences to the families and friends of those who killed in the streets today. What we have in Ukraine these days, this is a deep, deep crisis, multi-sided crisis, political, constitutional, and social, and which brought to the clashes and the huge amount of the victims. The only solution now to stop the violence, to demonstrate the wisdom, and somebody should be the first to demonstrate his wisdom, to stop the fighting.
But who is going to be first, as you say? Who's going to back down?
Well, in any conflict, it's very difficult to define who is the wiser or less wiser. Well, so somebody should do. My opinion is that the government should demonstrate this step first, but the opposition and the people on the streets, they should demonstrate the same tolerance and the same wisdom, and to be very careful to define exactly who is provoking from their sides all this violence.
Tell me, Ambassador, do you say who is doing the provoking when there are snipers on the streets of Kiev shooting protesters in the back and the head?
Still, there are rumors, and it is not defined. But in this case, it's very important that the leaders of the civil society, I mean the leaders in the street, the leaders of opposition, should define who they are, and to bring bring the calm from their sides, and to open the floor for the peaceful negotiations as to the ways out of the crisis.
Okay, on that point of peaceful negotiations, the EU foreign ministers were meeting with both sides today, and there seems to be some suggestion of potentially early elections. Would President Yanukovych agree to that?
I learned that the three ministers, they had more than 5 hours meeting with the president, and they had a meeting with the opposition. After that, the president invited opposition for the talks. This is a good sign. So if they find the compromise based on also on what the European Union suggests, so it will be good.
What about the sanctions that the EU is going to impose? Is that going to make any difference to the president, very briefly, Ambassador?
You know, at the time, sanctions, they are absolutely secondary. The most important to stop the violence and to find the ways out of the crisis. This is very important. But I should say that all the attempts to mediate during the last days from the EU side, from United States side, from Ban Ki-moon, the Secretary General of United Nations, were helpful, and so most probably it would help the parties involved to find the compromise and to demonstrate the wisdom and to bring peace. But what we also need,
Ambassador, I'm very sorry,
and solutions.
Ambassador, to cut you off. We were totally out of time there. Yuriy Sergeyev, the Ukrainian ambassador to the United Nations. I'm sorry to cut you off, but thank you very much for speaking with us.
Thank you.